What's up, Jabroni? Steven here, and welcome back to yet another reaction. Today we're hopping into Scrubs, episode number 15 of season number 1, called The Bed Banter and Beyond. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the series. If you have, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Head over to Patreon for the full, uncut, unedited reaction. You can get episodes extra early over there, as well as if you only got $1 to spare, $1 gets you this episode fully uncut, unedited over there on Patreon. Link in the description. Every episode on the day that it drops on YouTube, you get it over there for $1. All right, so yeah, I don't have anything else to say. So pretty much like, comment, subscribe. Last episode, ended with the big reveal. JD and Elliot they're bumping nasties, so we'll see how that happens. This looks like a bed, so I'm thinking it's gonna be the day after, and how's that gonna go? Let's find out. Here we go.
You slept with your best friend. This will be a disaster unless you say the right thing, so choose your words carefully.
Great job last night, buddy.
We really shouldn't feel weird about this. Things like this happen all the time.
All the time? Wait, Ellie.
I never really got the vibe that they were perfect for each other.
Look, I just,
Oh my God, just say it. Say, Elliot, stay in bed and have sex with me all day until neither one of us can move.
Yeah, let's do that. Just make this face.
No, you just look surprised that you were actually having sex.
Wow, what is, girl? 4 times? Seriously, give it up.
I really did.
Yeah, you did. Pizza.
Okay.
Pizza looks nasty as hell, though.
Oh, okay.
See, now you even look sexy holding that slice. Times I like a little sugar in my coffee.
No, Diddy, I just think it's best if we keep this between us for now. It's hard enough at work without everybody talking.
Big Bobo himself. Okay.
Oh, Big Bobo.
All nurses and interns, let's gather round and dance for the puppet master. Oh, yes, dance!
It's not just the nurses and interns.
Oh, no.
Don't be that guy, Bob.
So you have to
Gosh, I guess
talk about your
became a doctor
feelings.
because ever since I was a little boy, I just wanted to help people.
Excuse me?
HFFA, hot from far away, but up close she's nasty.
Oh, shit.
Baby, I am so sorry. I made an incredibly insensitive statement about an ugly person.
I'm taking one of those quiet moments where I weigh your good qualities against your bad ones and decide if you're actually worth the trouble.
The Todd is asking Elliot out. I think she'd be lucky to ride my
Oh, dear.
motorcycle.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
definitely.
But during the first game, I got all caught up, and fell in love with competing. And so through high school and college, I pretty much played everything because I needed to compete. It was my drug.
Fiction.
I think that's why I became a surgeon, too, because every day you get to step up to the table and go one-on-one against what's ever wrong with the patient. And if you're really good at it, you win most of the time.
Around with a bell around your neck.
All I heard was lesbian.
You know what? Let me talk to her for you, okay?
Oh, no, it's cool. JD's in the closet talking to a girl from me.
Yeah.
White boys.
He said
You too.
So when this man said, step aside, and everyone did, I asked
Power.
her out, who is this guy? And she said he was a doctor. And I thought, wow, I want to be a doctor too.
I really hope Carla gets to be a doctor someday.
But when I lost my first tooth and nobody left $180,000 under my pillow, I decided to become a nurse.
I know it seems rushed, but yes, I understand. 5 times usually takes me anywhere between 6 months and 7 years.
What the fuck?
Okay, let's do it. Let's have a talk.
Okay.
The relationship
You my
talk
boyfriend?
on the first day.
My girlfriend?
Yep.
Cool. Good to talk things through.
I love that little laugh.
Yeah, I saw all of that. Oh, don't be shy. Come here.
Oh no, oh my God, this is gonna be
See the echo
so
report on
awkward.
the
Laverne, did you know?
Was it supposed to be a secret?
And Carla?
Please, I knew before they did.
So,
Oh my God.
there it is. Oh, and if you go ahead and listen very carefully, you'll hear the familiar sound of no one caring.
While you guys were sleeping, we were up in the kitchen frying up some love.
Relationships. Well, Zygmunt, relationships are so fragile.
What is?
Oh,
Why is she mad?
that's great. Thanks. Thanks a lot, JD. Really mature.
Oh, come on. Elliot. Okay, Mr. Lewis. I'm afraid we're gonna need another stool sample. Not for medical reasons. My robot needs food.
Oh, that laugh.
But it's your laugh.
Colonoscopy. Oh, hey, Dr. Cox, I'm open. Hit me.
I mean, you gotta laugh at
There's
that.
nothing funny about that.
All right,
The
maybe
entire-
you just don't know funny, okay? Let me help you out.
Oh, who I hated more, her or me? I used to sit around and wonder why our friends weren't trying to destroy each other like we were. And here it turns out the answer is pretty simple. They weren't unhappy.
Dear Jesus, dude, there.
We were.
This is, man, therapy's opening up a lot for him. I like this episode though.
Rolled that damn thing exactly the way the video I bought told me to.
Probably just a bad bowl.
You don't always have to patronize me. I mean, you can just be honest with me and tell me that I suck.
You know what, Elliot? It's hard to be honest with you. When you're so neurotic, you don't even trust the computer to keep your score.
Ooh,
So
shit,
now I'm
he just
neurotic.
called her neurotic.
I'm sorry.
What is happening? How did this go so
Oh,
bad?
This is hard.
2
Bowling's
weeks.
a tricky sport.
No, I meant.
I know what you meant. It's difficult for everybody.
How's- No, like, you guys are fighting a lot. And it's 2 weeks. She hit the pin.
Am I right, JD? Is she right, JD?
Fuck.
Well, technically, yes. But, you know, it's really a judgment call. And if she really was that bradycardic, I probably would have called the fellow.
You too.
Well, if I didn't respect you, I wouldn't be having sex with you. That's not true. I totally would be.
Look, if you can't talk about this for real, then forget it.
Oh, a perfect dismount off her high horse.
If you don't like something, why don't you just say it? I mean, why do you have to hide behind your stupid little jokes?
Why is it impossible for you to ever let anything go?
Oh, I let
Oh,
tons
what
of
is
stuff go.
happening?
Like when you wouldn't stand up for me in front of Dr. Cox, or when you started telling everyone we know that we're having sex.
When are you letting that stuff go?
Fine. You want to know why I won't let that go? Because the only reason that you wouldn't stand up for me is that you're so terrified that someone somewhere in this hospital won't like you.
Oh, and that's a bad thing? That's a bad thing, Elliot? Why don't we get all my friends together in a room and we'll fight your friend?
Ooh, shit. Oh, shit.
I'm getting so tired of this.
Look, Elliot, this is me. Okay? And there's a lot of people here who like me for who I am. I thought you were one of them.
I thought I was too.
I think it'd be easier if you weren't friends with your girlfriend. At all.
I've always been so
Oh.
sure about everything in my life. I was sure that I wanted to be a
Stay
doctor,
tight.
and I was sure that I was going to be married by the time I was 25. But relationships, I always heard that when they were right, they were easy. That even when things got hard, that they were easy.
I can't imagine Elliot with like an easy
I don't get that at
relationship
all.
though.
Am I in a relationship now?
No,
Ah, they broke
I'm
up.
not in one now.
No.
Holy shit. A damn first day. So it was always just sex? They thought they wanted it?
I think it's gonna be great.
I believe you.
I believe me too.
Yeah. Interesting episode. I like this episode. All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode number 15, My Bed, Banter, and Beyond. I like really enjoyed that episode. I mean, it didn't have a lot of comedy. Nothing really made me laugh. Like, really, I chuckled a couple times, but nothing made me laugh. Like, truly laugh. But I think the overall story and the personal stuff that we learned about the characters was what made the episode kind of shine for me. The fact that it started with them being in this like glorious place, literally ended with them breaking up. Interesting, right? Like, that the show spent so much time, like, to me, building up Elliot, building up Jade, like building them up, right? That last episode when they ended up in bed together, I was like shocked, and I was like, oh shit, what? That's weird. I thought it was gonna be like kind of like a Ross Rachel kind of situation where maybe like a couple seasons later they end up together, but no, they slept together on the first episode, or the first season, and they broke them up in the first season. Very, very interesting choice. I'd be very curious to like hear why like that was like a choice made. I did enjoy the episode a lot though. I'd probably give it like an 8, but I can honestly, just because like there was a lot of like really good emotional stuff, but I didn't really care about them hiding it from everybody, or the fact that there wasn't any comedy would be why I would hold it to an 8 over not a 9. Because for me, the 9 have to be like the gut punches or like the laugh out loud moments. And this one had a mixture of, or had more like an emotional punch to it, but not, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I'm leaning towards an 8, but in my mind, maybe I can go to a 9, I don't know. But I like the way it starts off where it's right where we left off. The next day, they're in this like euphoria of happiness. They don't know how to act. They're being awkward with one another. JD's trying to say, he doesn't know what the first words he wants to say is. And then when she's about to leave, he tells JD what to say. JD says it, and bam. And that's why I said early in the reaction, I was like, I never, so far based on what we've gotten so far, I've never actually gotten the vibe that they meshed together. You know what I mean? I've gotten the we're friends or we're friends with benefits kind of thing. I never got this we're meshing and going to be one happy unit kind of vibe from them, except for that episode, like I said, where JD was trying to, sleep with her. So it was interesting that they chose to do that. But then you see by the ending why I was ultimately right. That wasn't a real feeling that they had for one another. At least, I don't know. I have to break it down a little bit. But yeah, so ultimately they stay in bed on their day off, eat pizza, nasty pizza. Like, I'm from New York, but that is like, no, we're going with, man, we got to get better pizza than that. That looks like microwave pizza. They sleep, they have sex, a lot of sex. They get to the hospital, and Elliot wants to keep it a secret. JD does not, but JD obliges what she wants. We get some stuff from Mr. Cox. We find out that there's going to be therapy that has to be had, a study or something that Kelso decided to do. And I think the therapy was interesting because, like, the one person that the therapy seemed to help the most, or like get the most out of, was Cox. The one person that didn't want it the most. He talked about a lot of his personal feelings, that, like, not a lot, like not now, but later, about hitting those like emotional points about him and his marriage and his relationships and kind of person that he is. And that's all stuff that, to me, I love getting to know about Cox, because he puts on this he's like a tool and jokes and all that stuff. But, people, they always say that jokes and people like that, they're coming from like a hurt place. And it's just interesting to see like Cox's like deep inner thoughts. We have this whole thing with Todd, which is fine. We see the reason that Turk became and got into medicine, where it was about, he got addicted to sports because he was following a girl, and then kind of drove him into to be a surgeon, because, like he mentioned, it's a sport essentially where you try to win, saving somebody's life. Yeah, the Todd thing, we got a montage here of them not being careful. We say that Carla, ever since she was a little girl, wanted to be a nurse, an ultimate, I mean, a doctor, but ultimately finances. She said she needed 180,000 or whatever. Ultimately, she couldn't do it, so she became a nurse. But I hope she gets to be a doctor someday. Show. Then this is when Cox finds out because they're stupid. They weren't being at all cautious. They were doing it everywhere, and people were seeing it. Morons. Cox figures it out. Everybody already knows. Makes fun of him. We get stuff with Kelso. Talks about his weird relationship with his wife. Then we have this is the stuff with Kelso from Cox. We have these two guys competing with them about the best couple. JD jokes about having sex with her, even though that they were so open, like they were so doing stuff in front of people. So I didn't understand her getting super mad, but I guess she is one that like her, you know, she's a lot like she doesn't want people to treat her differently. So I guess that would make sense for her reaction to be very angry. I don't know about angry like to the point of walking away, but that essentially starts the downfall where we see her get mad. Then we get back to the day. 2 weeks later, still arguing, still mad, still in this weird place. Now the laugh she thought was cute, now she hates it. Comedy, all this stuff. And then we go back to Cox with all the emotional stuff, which I really liked. And his kind of speaking is like overlaying what we're seeing in the background, like between Elliot and JD. And then we'll go to Cox and he'll talk about his relationships. I thought that was a cool back and forth. Then you know the whole it's not easy, and I was just shocked as like I was watching. I was like, wait, they're in a horrible spot, like relationship wise. I thought they would come out of it, but they never did. Then you know Cox. This is like a big issue where people have where you shouldn't work with your girlfriend or your wife or anything, because one of you two is gonna be right on certain things, and then you have to. You know, like what happened here, he had to correct her on what he would do because they have the same position. And then Cox said, "You always side with the girlfriend." I thought this was cool when these two were talking about each other, and like you really get the sense that they're like this, like they're in love, and like I hope that they end up together. I mean, only season 1. I don't know if this has 8 seasons. More fighting, more arguing back and forth here. And I thought, I wasn't sure what was gonna happen here, but when they do the therapy and he's like, "Are you in a relationship now?" And then she's like, "No, no." Then it ends on this. It's like, wow, they were the happiest for one night, or for one day, 1 24-hour period, and then for the next 2 weeks they were fighting and at each other's throats. Because what did JD say? He doesn't think you should be best friends with your girlfriend. Which I mean, I completely disagree with that, but that's just me. I think you should definitely be friends with like the person that you're trying to spend the rest of your life with. But yeah, it was an interesting take because like he was still being the way he was with his like Elliot as if she was a friend. She, as your girlfriend, they have like different standards and they have different expectations of you. And SJD stood being himself, and he even told her, "This is me." I don't know. I enjoyed this episode a lot, man. I don't know where it ranks for a lot of people, but I just enjoyed like the way that it was directed, the pacing, the Todd stuff I could have done without, and a couple small things here and there, but it's anywhere between an 8 or 9 to me. So, but that's my reaction. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Head over to Patreon for the full, uncut, unedited reaction. You can get episodes extra early over there as well if you want them. $1 gets you this episode fully uncut, unedited. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna talk to you guys later.